All right, guys, another episode here. I think it's episode 75. I could be wrong. I could be correct, but I'm just going to guess that it's 75. I have a special guest today, another guest from up north, but I think you are more on the east side of the country, right?
I'm in Ottawa, so yeah.
Yeah, Ottawa. So for those of you that don't know who is on today, Jason Costello, otherwise known on Instagram as Cardboard Haven. So give him a follow when you can. And it's nice to have you on. It's nice to have somebody to talk to from Ottawa as well. I've talked to a lot of people from Toronto, obviously, before, Montreal as well. So a few people there, which is cool. But nice to get somebody on in Ottawa. So I appreciate you coming on to this episode. Happy to have you here. Give everybody an introduction if you'd like, even though I already gave one, but I think it's good for people to do them themselves too.
Yeah, well, actually, I was born in Toronto, so it's kind of funny. But yeah, my name is Jason Costello. I've been collecting since 1985. So yeah, it's been a long journey.
How did you get started in the hobby?
Just my dad opening packs with him, mostly baseball, 1985.
Yeah, that's what it seems like. That's usually the case with a lot of people. It's usually a baseball kind of influence. For me, obviously, some people know the story. I got that. My dad was traveling to Portugal quite a bit. I get those sticker books and stickers. I think I told people on the last episode I had a 1982 World Cup one that I don't know what I did with that, but that sticker book is complete. And obviously, there's a pretty important Maradona sticker in there that has now kind of disappeared. I don't know where that book is. I think I lost it while I was moving at some point in my life, but it's sad. So I think it's important that people keep stuff. You start to think about even some of your base cards, right? Like people don't really value base cards anymore. And I always talk about how they're important. I think down the road, you see these breakers, they either throw out the base or they give out the base or they donate the base. And sometimes they end up in the trash, but eventually there'll come a time where there isn't base around and there'll be a demand for certain base cards. That's kind of my reasoning with my wife for keeping a lot of this stuff in a closet. It takes up too much room, which is probably not the good reason to do that. Jason, tell me a little bit about the vibe in Ottawa for card collecting. So you collect soccer. I see your wall there. You've got a Lamine Yamal jersey. You've got a Brazil kit on right now as well, and I think there's an Italy jersey over your left shoulder there. So it's on my side. And Costello sounds like an Italian name to me. Is that correct?
Yes, correct. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I am.
Yeah. So I'm interested to know what the Ottawa vibe is. I know, like with you guys have the Sens, right? I think you collect hockey as well.
I do.
But what's the vibe like there with card shows and the card community? What's it like up there in Ottawa?
There's not much at all. Jonathan David, and that's it.
Wow,
Because
for
he's from
soccer, huh?
Ottawa, right?
Oh,
Yeah,
he's from Ottawa. Okay,
yeah.
okay. But is it primarily a
It's hockey,
more of a
100%.
more hockey one? I mean, Canada's generally more hockey anyways. So, um, do you go to any of the local shows up there or anything like that? I know I've seen on the Hockey Gong show. Shout out to those guys. They have I think Phil's from Ottawa, right? You know him?
Yeah, he's always at the card show. There's one every month.
Okay,
He's
every
always
month. So there's only one show up in Ottawa, usually monthly, or is there other shows in the area?
just one monthly.
Wow, man, you guys are tough to. Are you going to be going to the soccer expo in Toronto in November?
I'm hoping to. I want to. I've always wanted to
Awesome.
go. So yeah, that's the
Awesome.
plan.
That'll be good to see you there. If you go, I'm planning on going too. As of now, I am going. So we'll see what happens in terms of timing and the life with a 2-year-old and how it works out for me. So, but I am planning on going there. Any players you particularly PC, countries you buy, clubs you support?
Well, I'm for sure big hockey. Austin Matthews. I got a pretty big PC of Austin Matthews for hockey. Yeah.
What about soccer wise? Do you PC any
Mostly
soccer?
PC. Bradley Barcola.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I got a lot of his stuff just because it's cheap.
You think he's too cheap?
I think he's way too cheap.
You do, okay.
I do.
So are you optimistic in his possibly moving somewhere to like another big club? I mean, PSG, right? I talk about this all the time. Is like, can they keep those players all there, keep that core together to try to go on a run of winning, 2 Champions Leagues in a row? I mean, what are your thoughts on that? I mean, they just lost Gigi, right? Gigi's going to be gone effectively. Nobody's picked him up yet or bought him. I think he's probably going to end up at City. It sounds like, but what do you think the outlook on keeping him there at PSG is?
I think he's gonna stay there.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, it's interesting to see because they have so many good players. You know, João Neves, they have Desiree Doué, they have Vitinha, they have Dembele. I think is a guy that will stay. He's kind of found his footing there, being back home and playing in a French league on a French team. I think he's the type of player that will stay there. Hakimi probably stays too. Nuno Mendes, he's still so young, he could end up somewhere else. But I think I'm hoping that they keep that core together, obviously, which would be great. I'm going to jump down to the next. We talked a little bit about kind of what we're going to talk about in this podcast. So I tried to prepare you a little bit for it. Um, and hopefully you didn't spend too much time doing it,
No,
but
no,
we're going to jump on to the next one. So the next piece I want to talk about is kind of, there was a big card sale, this past week. And I don't know if you saw this,
Michael
the
Jordan.
Michael Jordan Kobe Bryant sports card. Yeah, it sold for a record 12.9 million. And I believe that's actually a record for a sports card,
Yeah, it's the highest.
which
Yeah,
which actually surpassed the 1952 Topps Mickey Mantle card, which sold for 12.6 million in late August of 2022. This card, as people know, they're logo mans, and they were purchased by, some people know these people on social media. Matt Allen, otherwise better known as Shine 150. We all know who he is. Paul Warshaw, who's an entrepreneur. And then, of course, the big famous guy, for those that watch Shark Tank, Kevin O'Leary, and why I wanted to talk about a basketball card on this podcast is kind of important because you're starting to see, and I'm not even talking about Shine because he's been in the hobby. And I think Paul Warshaw also has been part of the hobby for a little bit. But Kevin O'Leary coming in is kind of interesting, right? He's looking at this and he's talking about alternative asset class. And I've kind of discussed this, excuse me, in my past, that sports cards are essentially an alternative asset class. Just like at one time, real estate was also an alternative asset class. You know what I mean? Many moons ago, obviously. But, a card and a house are two different, very different things, but they're both backed by something, right? The card is the card itself, and the house is the house itself. So Kevin O'Leary coming in and noticing, and I heard one of his interviews. He talked about, I think it was on CNBC. He talked about that he's been watching the space grow and how what it's done. And I think this is really important. I don't think we're going to see, cards, just bump up automatically because they bought this card. But I think it's an awareness thing. I think you'll start to see more people come into the hobby. Any thoughts on this sale, what it means to the hobby, any impact on maybe the hockey side or even the soccer side of things?
and I just think in general, it's good. It's good for the hobby. More people are going to get involved. Lots of people, lots of money. I think it's going to help. It's almost like a stock, I find.
Yeah, yeah, it's kind of like, yeah, you're right. The one thing is that the interesting part about it is I think getting people into this is huge. But I think there's also of and I don't want to be the Debbie Downer on this, but I want to be the guy that kind of questions some things here. And I'm going to say, I think while this will bring people into the hobby for the gambling chase aspect of it, so the breaking is always going to do well, right? Because people will take those chances. But I think we kind of might lose collectors with this. And what I mean by that is people come in, you're seeing kids that are young walking around shows with $10,000, $20,000 cards in their cases, where the base card now is irrelevant to people. And, it's oddly enough for me, like I still like base cards
So
of
do I.
particular players or particular teams or particular countries.
Yeah, especially for a PC, right? You have to have the basic.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I think we kind of lose sight of that, right? When we start to see all these dollar signs, and I think it's great for the hobby, don't get me wrong, but I think some people might come into this and be like, "Oh, I can get into a break, or I can do this, go buy this card." Or like people might come in now, right? And they see Lamine Yamal, they're going to go buy Lamine Yamal cards, and the prices are crazy right now, right? They're too high. Where if somebody was coming in right now, if they wanted advice from me and let's say they had $5,000, I would tell them, go find a low graded Ronaldo rookie and a low graded Messi rookie. Buy those two
100%. Yeah.
and you'll be good. You know what I mean? That's what I would do. So it'll be interesting to see what happens and how that impacts the hobby. But I mean, am I going down the wrong track here when I talk about that?
No, I think 100%. I think people that are coming into this hobby, they're going to go after the Messi, the Ronaldo, the Maradona, Pele. The ones with the big money that are going to come in, they're going to go for the GOATs, 100%.
Yeah, no, I agree. But then we also have, like, I'm a rookie chase guy too, right? I chase rookies that are unknown, right? I like to, how do I say this? Be able to say, I told you guys that
Yeah.
this guy was going to be good.
That's
or
what
I
I like
told you.
doing. I
Yeah,
like
it's
doing that
fun
myself
because
too.
it's kind of a challenge, right? So I mean, I still think that even people coming into this market, they'll probably look at that, and I think it's probably a behavior pattern, right? Where you have particular investors that are long-term guys like Kevin O'Leary, for example. Maybe he comes in and he decides, I'm going to find, a Lamine Yamal auto patch or game worn something. I mean, he's not a rookie anymore, right? He's 2 years in now, basically. But you know, I don't know who it is, but the regular collector that isn't a big guy that's got a lot of money like Kevin O'Leary, if they come in and get burnt, or if they get into a break and get burnt, a big break, like, in hockey, you guys have the cup, right? And I love those. I've been in a lot of those breaks because I love that. And one of the bigger cards I ever hit was a Stutzel of 12
Nice
RPA
card.
rookie. I hit that out of a break, and I was trying to trade the Ottawa Senators in that break before the break even happened. I'm glad I didn't. That card sold for almost $4,000 for me.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, really nice card, but I was kind of like, I got to kind of, it was the right move at the time to sell that. But when people get burnt, right, I think there's a learning process here where people come into the hobby and they understand that doing breaks isn't the most economical or most feasible way to do things. While you might have somebody who catches beginner's luck and they hit
Yeah.
huge, they're going to be into breaks. And I know some guys that are in breaks all the time. They don't buy singles. They want to pack pull everything. But, what are your thoughts on that kind of observation? Do you think, I mean, how do we prevent that from happening? How do we prevent from people getting hurt or having second thoughts about staying in? Because I've seen a lot of people come and go on the social media side of things.
I don't know. I would suggest buying the goats myself. I don't do very many breaks. I buy, but I like the prospect because I used to do it in baseball all the time. Like buy like the guys like
Like the Bowman first.
Bowman first one. Yeah, I do a lot of that before, and now I'm trying to do it more with soccer, finding the next best guy, right?
Yeah, and that's kind of like one of the things. Like for us, it's kind of like I still like a nice select or a nice Topps Chrome low numbered card. I like those. I like those. They're nice, but I still also like the base cards, like we were talking about. But as we kind of evolve, right, especially with soccer, where when you've collected hockey, also where the upper deck does a phenomenal job on the RPAs and the patches and the autos, and then you get Topps, who's doing, I mean, they're starting to do it, but Topps does these cards with sticker autos and Panini does sticker autos. And then it's like the patches in game worn. It's kind of depressing. Again, you look at what Upper Deck's done and like they can do it. Why can't you do it? And part of that challenge is probably because, with soccer, there's so many different leagues and they don't have representatives everywhere. I mean, that's probably a job for somebody that, Topps or
Oh yeah, for sure.
Panini could hire somebody to do that. Go get game worn stuff and get the autos from these guys on these cards.
Soccer's hard to get on card for sure.
Yeah, it is. And they're starting to I posted that Nevs last week, which was on card. The
It's a
patch is
beautiful card.
beautiful. It's 3-color patch, right? I've seen, and it tells you on the back the exact game that it is from, which is cool. But then, you'll get ones, and I saw that same card, right? I actually found some of 10s available with only a solid color on there, like only
Yeah,
one color, the blue. And I'm like, this card is better, but it's numbered to 50. But and in my eyes, my card's more valuable. You know what I mean? Because of 3 colors. Because in
massive
hockey,
patch. That's
we
how it
know
is. Yeah,
that. That's how
massive
it is.
patch.
3 colors rule. The of 99 are the true rookies. They're worth more money than a card that's numbered to 49 or whatever, right? I think, obviously, from your perspective, since you're a big hockey guy too as well, how does soccer do that? Or I mean, I guess the question is like it needs to do it, right, in order to grow. And then maybe it's early stages because hockey is kind of an upper deck kind of is the foundation. I call them the founding members of kind of that creation of the RPA, right? They're really the ones that created that. Um, and they've done such a good job on it. I wish they could get like a license in soccer again somehow. But
Well, even
um,
that card that just sold was Upper Deck, right?
yeah, yep,
The Michael Jordan Kobe.
yeah,
It's Upper Deck card,
yeah.
right?
It's just, man, it's like I don't know. I think we get frustrated. We get a little spoiled because we think about what's been done in the past, right? Or what other companies do, like an Upper Deck, right? That Upper Deck was an exquisite, that Upper Deck exquisite
Number
is just
one.
such a legendary brand. Shout out to Upper Deck. Here's a funny story for you. I'm still waiting a year and a half on a Seth Jarvis exquisite to 25 RPA from Upper Deck Redemption. A year and a half.
What? He's
Yep.
signed already. Like he's been signed for a while.
I guess he hasn't signed those RPAs though. I talked to somebody at Upper Deck about it, and they told me that he hasn't signed those yet. I guess he didn't like signing them that much, apparently. And now he likes it because they were able to convince him that fans actually care about those cards. So it's just kind of funny that that's how that worked out. No, hopefully we see that more in soccer with more kind of on card and game used, not kind of it's kind of like Upper Deck. I mean, they do some stuff that's manufactured, right? They got those SP game used, the draft day marks. Those are manufactured patches, and people don't really care about those. They don't. I mean, they sell for good money if you got a Connor Bedard or a McDavid. I mean, but not as much as they should. If those were game worn, those would be absolutely crazy cards. Do you have any big auto patch cards in the soccer that you have right now?
Not so much in the soccer, no.
More hockey, so
More hockey, yeah. I've only been doing soccer for maybe 3 years, and
okay.
I've just been buying like a lot of the prospects, really.
Okay, okay.
Selling like a lot of the younger ones.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Do you set up at shows up there, or are you just
No,
like
I go
more
every
neat?
month.
You do, okay. You
Yeah,
just go. You don't set up or sell.
I just sell on eBay. That's it.
Okay, okay. That makes sense. And then any prospects right now that you're kind of watching that maybe people need to take a look at?
I like Barcola. Who else? We'll see how this one new kid does there. The Max, what is it? Gilman?
Yeah, for Arsenal.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm a big Arsenal fan, so I follow a lot of Arsenal.
Man, why do I have a lot of friends that are Arsenal fans? That's so weird to me.
Yeah,
Because you're all
I,
losers. I'm just kidding. I'm only kidding. Yeah, I'm only kidding.
yeah, it's all good.
Yeah, I don't think he has actual card yet, right? Because like
No, he
he's not in
doesn't.
any of the
I'd
pro.
check.
He's probably gonna have a Tops Now card, I bet. And
Yeah, for
then
sure.
obviously some of these brands they'll take advantage of that and say we got to get him into this coming products, either Panini or well now the Premier League licenses with Tops. They'll probably get him into the Tops Now actually coming up, right? I would figure that's the case. And then if he plays in the Champions League, if he makes an appearance in the Champions League you'll probably get a Tops Now card there too. And the Tops Now stuff is interesting. And so is the Panini Instant stuff because, and then this week I posted something about the Portugal card, right? And the significance of those cards because they were so low printed, but now they're kind of printed to the moon a little bit. So it makes it not as desirable. And a lot of people are still, they're still kind of calling it stuff that's not pack pulled, right? And I understand that. But I think some of the older ones that are least printed that don't show up on the market anymore are significant. And for somebody like him, where you see all the press he's getting, and there's no doubt he's really talented kid, really talented kid. I think he's going to be a star if he can stay healthy. But I will remind you guys, you Arsenal fans, I'll remind you guys that a lot of you guys said the same thing about Jack Wilshere and Aaron Ramsey. So just a quick reminder. But I think this kid is different. I do. I really believe that. We all know that the English media loves to prop up their players, and there's the extra pump on them. But Downman's going to be a big card. And I was actually just on Tops Now Premier League, and there's no Tops Now card for him. But I think there
Not
will be
yet.
one
No.
next. No, because I think they only did. They have this sale for right now. Are the cards that are like Estevan Tops Now. There's a Mohamed Salah, and there's in the Ikateki for Liverpool. And this sale ends in 11 hours. So imagine tomorrow or the next day, Tops is going to launch that card on there. And I would suspect that it'll probably, with the hype that kid has, that people, I wouldn't be surprised if it hits like 20,000 prints. You know what I
Oh
mean?
yeah,
On
yeah,
that
yeah.
kid,
It's gonna be,
you
if
know,
not more.
because
Yeah.
because people will want to chase the early serial numbered ones and then grade them and try to flip them before his pack pulled rookies come out. So that's interesting that's one of the guys you're keeping tabs on. Obviously, Barcola, people know him already. He's won the Champions League, so that's a significant thing that he's already done at a young age. Anybody else that you're kind of keeping your tabs on?
Hendrick,
Yeah, what are your thoughts on Endrick?
he's hurt, right?
No, I don't think he's hurt. I think right
I thought
now,
I thought I read that he was hurt. He's out for like 2 months. I could be wrong, but
really?
I thought it. Yeah, because I was wondering. I was like checking why isn't he playing?
Oh yeah, he's out for 2 months. That's right. That's right. He is. Although he's supposed to come back, I think mid September.
I
I guess
hope so.
he's had like a that's right. He had that nagging hamstring injury, and I think he's re-aggravated it. So yeah, and hamstrings are tough, man. Those are scary because if you can't repair that, you can't
Oh yeah,
get
you're
that
done.
explosion off off those legs. And I obviously I like Endrick too a lot. I think he possesses a lot of qualities that I do like in a player.
My daughter pulled a nice card last year.
Which one?
The Copa America Green Wave auto
Oh, that's a nice one. That's a nice one. You guys
out of a
keep it?
blaster. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I keep
That's a
that.
good one to keep.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think the Select and the Cobra Prism are the two cards that people will want at that point because I think those are the significant rookies. They're not the top Scrum. I don't think will be. I think people will chase those because it's his first Real Madrid kit card. But I think those cards, the Select one and the Palmeiras kit, and then
Copa.
the Copa card, right? Those will be the significant ones people want to have. But the Select is interesting because there's different variations of it, of the card. So you pull that out of a blaster?
Yeah, my daughter. It's
That is
actually right here.
wild.
I'll show you.
Yeah, show us.
Yeah.
Wow, yeah, it's a
And if you notice, like a lot of his autos are off. Like I know
yeah, the
this
sticker, they're off the
sticker. Yeah, yeah.
sticker. Yeah,
This is perfect though.
that one looks yeah, that one
Yeah,
looks
yeah.
good. Bring it a little more over to your left.
This
Bring
way.
it yeah, there we go. Yeah. Yeah, that auto's completely on the sticker. That's a really nice one. I would grade that.
Yeah, 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 for sure.
It's a good one to grade because you know it's got that green. It's almost like a color match, right? Like it looks good. It's a nice card, yellow and green. It's awesome, awesome
Yeah, it's
card.
out of blaster. Yeah,
Anybody else that you're looking at for those rookies that are out there right now that you're anticipating that could be potential
I'm
either
hoping that Mora goes to PSG.
yeah, that is an interesting saga right now.
I'm hoping. I just picked up a few of his numbered cards. Came in the mail actually the other day. Few
So
that are like 299, 399, just like low numbered. Not
yeah,
too
like
low, but
yeah,
something.
like I love Rodrigo Mora. I think he's fantastic. Although every day, and I read Portuguese media every day, and yesterday it was that the deal was off, but now today it seems like the deal's back on again. It seems like Al Ittihad is not giving up on him.
I hope he doesn't go there.
Yeah, it sounds like they're willing to meet the release clause, but I also heard something else today that Porto was actually trying to restructure his contract, which is interesting. And I don't know if this is something that they're trying to do to up his release clause and give him a little bit more money to keep him happy. And the other part of it is that there's also he's represented by Jorge Mendes, who's the big Portuguese agent for many footballers. And the weird part about it, so Porto had refused a $50 million, 50 million euro offer from the Saudi club over the weekend. But George Mendes being the agent, he's got a 10% commission. And the president of Porto, Andres Villas-Boas, refuses to pay the commission for the transaction. So what this means is that for Al Ittihad to get Mora, they're not only going to have to pay the release clause, which I think is 70 million, but they're also going to have to pay Mendes' commission. And this is where things get dicey, right? It becomes kind of, is it the player that's really orchestrating this or is it the agent? And there's been a former Benfica candidate for president, I think it's Bruno de Carvalho, had stated that Benfica should buy him, should pay the 70 million and just pay it in installments. Benfica doesn't have the money to front 70 million, but I was talking to somebody the other day, it's a Benfica fan as well, and I was saying, listen, they could sell Kareem to Fenerbahce for 20 million and then maybe sell another player, which Antonio Silva, although Antonio Silva is a key to Benfica right now in that defense
He's
because
good.
they don't have the depth either, but he's probably a $40 million, 40 million euro or pound or dollar transfer, probably 50 to 60 million next summer for some team, either in Serie A or the Prem. He's that good. But if they could somehow work out a deal where they could pay in installments, but it's Porto. It's an arch enemy. It makes it really difficult, Benfica and Porto. The only way this happens is if Benfica pays the 70 million up front and then that release clause is activated regardless. And I don't know how it works with the Saudi league. I imagine it's probably the same thing, but it seems like the bickering right now seems to be the agent fees, which is kind of terrible to hear that. You know what I mean? That it's going to be on that. We hope, and you say that you hope he doesn't go to the Saudi league, right?
You don't hear about them once they go there, right? Not very often, unless you're looking for it. But you don't really hear about a player unless you're looking.
Yeah, it's because they don't have the media coverage. And I think I'm trying to remember who actually has those rights in the US. And I think if it might be Fox Sports that has the rights in the US for the Saudi League, but nobody's watching it. The times are hard and nobody's watching it. They're not promoting it enough in North America, obviously, or else we'd watch it, right? We would, because there are a lot of
Yeah,
good
yeah.
players there.
There is good players.
But
Yeah,
you look at somebody like, Porto's they got Viega back, right? He was the Spanish kid that went over
yeah.
there, had a lot of hype, went over there. He spent, I think, 2 seasons there, and now he's at Porto. And that's kind of one of the downfalls of going there. I think if you're not an established player, like a Ronaldo or like a Sadio Mane or somebody, a Benzema, right? If you're coming back to Europe, you're gonna have to go back to a team to get established again. I
Yeah, of
think that's what's
course.
happening right now. You know, Duran from Colombia, he's at Fenerbahce also. He was in Saudi for a little bit with Ronaldo too. A guy that was at Aston Villa that was probably going to start, and then he left, and now he's back in Europe at Turkey for Fenerbahce. But he's not at a big club. I mean, Fenerbahce is a big club. Don't get me wrong, but it's not a top tier um, league in Europe where those players have to do. So that's my fear with Mora, because if Mora goes there, I get it. You go there, you get your payday, you know, generational money. Your family's supported for many years, many generations, probably 2 or 3 generations, right?
Yeah,
And
it's
that's
big
what
money.
Viega did, right? He went there, although he was a big, huge, like kind of player in Spain that people were really looking forward to. But now he's come back to Europe and he's had to go to Porto, who is not a small club, but they're not, you know, they're not Real Madrid, they're not Barcelona, they're not AC Milan, they're not Man City, they're not, I won't even put United in that group anymore, but or they're not Arsenal or they're just not or Liverpool, right? Teams that have won recently, they're not in that caliber. But Porto is probably a good stepping stone from. It wouldn't surprise me next year if Villa leaves for a considerable amount of money. These Portuguese teams, that's what they do. They bring players, they resuscitate their careers, whatever they may do. They take the young kids, they develop them further. So I'm hoping Moore doesn't go there either. Which cards did you get of his? Are they autos, redemptions?
No, they're just numbered
Oh,
cards.
okay.
Top Chrome numbered.
Yeah, his stuff is really expensive, I feel like.
I've been buying lots off the China in Asia. I find that I
You
can get good deals.
do you primarily buy on Card Hobby, or are you using
No, I use eBay.
oh, you use eBay? Okay, okay. And people are afraid to buy from there because
That's the
they
thing,
think,
and I'm not afraid because I have like 5 regular dealers that I deal from through
yeah,
eBay, and I just buy a whole bunch off them. And like I just bought a Moro silver for like $5 Canadian, sold it for 25, and
wow.
then I just flip that and buy like a numbered card, and I just keep doing that, and I just move up.
Okay, okay, that makes sense. Makes sense. Do you how do you track that? You keep a spreadsheet and stuff?
No, I just in my head.
You just in your head, yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
So I
Which I
sell
try
lots
to
off eBay.
I
Like I
do that. I
bought.
do that. I try to keep stuff in my head too, but I got to find a better way to do these things.
I should keep it. Keep.
One of the things I do is I use like Card Ladder for my slabs, because Card Ladder can actually track things. There's a place you can put in like the cards that you have in slabs, and it has like real time. You know what I mean? So you can see how you've done. You can put in like the price you paid for it, and then you can see how it's done over time. And my portfolio looks good. Then you update them when you sell them, right? So it actually gives you kind of a running count of what's going on there, which is really interesting. All right, that's great. Any other rookies that you're looking at that you generally are excited about? Any of the kids at Arsenal that you're excited about?
Not so much a kid, but Saka. But last game, I
Yeah.
think he got hurt last game after he scored. Not too long after that. Yeah, that's about it, really.
Oh, okay. So Saka's the guy, huh? Saka's the guy that you
I think Saka's
like
the
to
guy.
look
Yeah,
at. Yeah, and he's got that one rookie, that Pitch Kings, I think 2019. It is 2019-20 Panini Chronicles, which I still love that set so much. Um, that's cool. We already talked about Rodrigo Mora, the saga there. For those that don't know about that saga, I know there are a lot of people. I told people months ago to be careful, because I kind of guaranteed that he wouldn't transfer this summer. But what I was leaning towards was that he wouldn't transfer to a European team. He would stay at Porto. And while the new coach has come in and he's done a really good job, he's an excellent coach. I don't understand why he's not playing
he's
him.
not playing him, eh?
Yeah, when he should. I
Off
mean,
the bench.
he came off the bench. You know, he's not
I'm
trying
just
to use
gonna
my
plug
words.
my phone in. Sorry, just gotta
Yeah,
plug it
I'm
in.
trying to use my words wisely, but he's not uh I don't consider him the best player on that team, but I consider him the most talented player on that team.
Strengthen.
He's not the best yet. He's not the best player yet, but uh it'd just be a shame if he went over to Saudi too early. Let's give him a second, guys. He's plugging his phone in, looking for the extension cord. This happens on podcasts like this. Now we'll talk a little bit about Card Ladder, and look at the index thus far. I'm gonna go share my screen on this one, so people can see what's going on Card Ladder. It'll be interesting to share my screen. There we go. It'll be interesting to see what's going on in the indexes here for soccer primarily. So here's the indexes. We're going to pop that up. We'll do a quick update on the indexes in soccer. Soccer's up 18%, and I think it's the best performing piece in the hobby right now at 18%, racing at 15%, UFC at 15%, baseball 7%. Trying to see who the losers are right now. There aren't many losers right now. Tennis is starting to come down a little bit, not significant enough. Golf, hockey is down 2%, and this is over the last looks like 1 month. So soccer's the best performer right now at up 18% the last month here, and you can take a look at this. Rate of growth over the last month has been 11%, guys. Really healthy, really good to see that. The starting value was 72.83. And if you guys, the cards in the index, we'll take a look at those in a second just so you guys understand it. Volume is down considerably from the beginning of the month, as you can see here. So that was the high point, right? But the volume has been consistent here at staying at where it's at. But it's, man, this is really, actually, I need to change these because these are not, this is from August 1st through the 18th, but we want to try to do through the 26th. There we go. There's a better rate. Even better. 14% rate of growth the last month soccer showing. And the sales volume still, again, you're at the height there at the beginning of the month. And now we kind of seen kind of a flat line here. I think people are probably being cautious. Season just began. Not getting too excited or rambunctious about it. And this is probably stuff from the national here that kind of carried over. Now, the cards in the index. Have you ever looked at this before?
I have, yeah.
Yeah. So these I do this occasionally on the podcast so people get a good idea of what's going on in the market. Lionel Messi BGS 9 mega cracks last sold for 23K. This card's going wild. All of his stuff is starting to go wild. Look at this one here. This is a Lamine Yamal optic Donruss PSA 10 optic. That's a base. $200.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Unbelievable. Ronaldo stuff is starting to get an uptick. There's an 18 base PSA 10 at $78. I'm actually curious on this card because this is a very liquid card. It's got a market cap of 134,000. But you can see here that I actually have one of my portfolios. So there it is. I invested $62. I bought it at I sold it for 60, so I lost $2 on that one, but it's up to 78. The last price was $78. So nice to see a nice liquid card doing really well. Pop is 1712, everybody, as you can see here, with 1712 PSA 10s. That's a lot. But compared to the other sports, it's not that much. You know what I mean? It's not that much compared to the other sports. You start thinking about soccer in that manner. You're starting to kind of realize that this stuff is, we're kind of early, very early as compared to the other sports. Let's go back to the indexes. So we're pretty early in terms of comparing to the other sports, right? I talked a lot about on the last episode. I talked a lot about how some of the stuff from the 90s we should probably think about and consider this calling that vintage soccer, even though it really isn't, but it's early cards for the sport. I kind of compare them to the 50s and the 60s for baseball cards, right? Stock cards from the 90s. And I think that's probably where our hobby will go eventually. But we'll see. I mean, with some of these soccer dedicated shows, such as the one coming up that Hooked on Soccer and Hooked on Soccer cards and SAC cards are coming up on the September 27th down in Clark, New Jersey, guys. For those that don't know, 9 to 3 p.m. I think. Then there's a trade night on the 26th as well. So, you have the index has primarily all of these kind of stars that Ronaldo's, the Erling Haaland rookies, the Mbappe's, Messi stuff, Lamine Yamal stuff. Even there's a Rui Patricio on here. This can't be right, right? Yeah, I guess it is. I mean, there's stuff on here that people are, and here are the stats where we went over that before already. So I don't spend too much time on this, but I think we realize what's going on here. And it's good to see that soccer is the best performing sport right now at 18% rate of growth in the last month, edging out racing, UFC. And it's funny, baseball, the number one kind of collecting sport, is fourth, even behind Yu-Gi. It's wild to me. This is kind of wild. Yeah, you collect any Yu-Gi-Oh or anything like that, or racing cards or UFC or anything like that?
I collect everything except Yu-Gi-Oh. Like I have,
I don't understand that. I don't even understand the Pokemon stuff. I was at a
yeah,
show this
Pokemon. Yeah.
weekend. I was at a local show this weekend, and 80% of the tables were Pokemon. It used to be a sports card show. I'm kind of just like, what's going on here?
Even here, same thing.
Yeah.
Half the show is all Pokemon.
Yeah, and I don't understand that stuff, so I stay away from it. It's just like I don't want to even get involved in that. I don't understand it. I don't know it, so I stay in my lane and just do what I need to do.
I
Right.
thought about doing it, but if you don't know enough about it, I got enough going on. I collect hockey, football, basketball, soccer. Yeah,
Yeah, I used to dabble a lot in football, basketball, and baseball. I just don't as much anymore. I mean, I still for baseball, I'll still buy kind of like I'm a Red Sox fan, so if I see something cool, Pedro Martinez, David Ortiz, or even Ted Williams or Yaz or guys like that, I'll buy it. For basketball, it's anything Celtics. And I don't necessarily have any of the newer guys. I don't have Tatum stuff. I don't have Jalen Brown guys. I have like Pierce, Bird. I have stuff like that. Guys that I think have been more
back in the day.
kind of transcendent to me personally, and even football. I wish I owned a Brady rookie, but I don't. But that's something I should
Me
get
neither.
eventually. I would love to get, even if it's a like a low, kind of one in a Michigan uniform would be cool. But I obviously I'd want one in a Patriots uniform. I think the best might have to sell for is I have an SP Authentic second year of his and a PSA 10, which is probably a
Okay,
$300 card, but it's a beautiful card. I love it, and I'll end up keeping that for a while. So I try to occasionally you run into a Walmart or Target and you see a blaster of something
you got
and
to
you're
open
like,
it,
you know
right?
what? Yeah, I'll buy one. You know what? To give it a shot, just to have, just to open it and just have a little fun with it.
Um,
So
yeah,
that's what I do. So that's kind of card ladder guys right now. There's some releases coming up. I'm not sure if you have tracked any of these releases coming up. So you have Immaculate for Soccer coming up on the 17th. Wonderful cards. Again, there's stuff in there that is not match worn with autos. There's also stuff in there that's match worn with autos, sticker autos. For example, I have a Nevs of 3 that's match worn and it's a sticker auto, which is fine. But then I pulled an Orkin Koksu 1 of 1 last year with Vita Break. Shout out to him. And it was a 1 of 1, not an auto, but it was a patch. And guess what? It was the Benfica crest, was really nice, but it wasn't match worn. Just
crazy. Eh?
it's just terrible for a 1 of 1. Like I don't understand.
And that product's not cheap.
No, it's not. But I think I'm good with that product. I probably won't be getting into breaks this time because I think I did last year because Joe Neves had autos in there and that's what I was chasing. And luckily I got some, which was great. But you have that coming out. You also have the Return of Noir set for October 3rd, although that product's been pushed back quite a bit. And then FIFA Club World Cup Prism says the date's this week, but I don't know if that's really true or not. I've seen a bunch of different things say that it's coming out this week, but I kind of doubt it. Panini's been kind of like late on stuff, and that's too bad that product is late because if that product had come out during the actual event, I think it would have been better.
It would have been a lot better. Yeah.
Yeah. You looking forward to any of those to look at? Or I know for me that the World Club Cup Prism stuff is interesting because I think Rodrigo Mora will have a card in there. It'll be his like first Prism. So for a lot of guys,
I
that
think that would be good. Yeah.
could be potentially their first Prism card. You know what I mean? So that's kind of unique because some guys will never get a Prism card ever after that.
After that, yeah, it's done.
And I think that's what people forget in this hobby. We forget about the licenses and how they work. That's why I always say that Select Serie A and Select La Liga are very important sets. You might get a blaster and might not do really well in it, but there are rookies in there that don't have any other cards.
Or not
They're
too
really
many.
significant. Yeah, they're really significant, or they don't have any. Like trying to use an example here, like who's a good example? Not ELDs because he was in Select FIFA, but take a Serie A rookie, right? That plays for a Torino, for example, right? They're not in any other sets. They only have Select Serie A. That's it, and score when they don't even release that always. So it's like, well, that's the only rookie. So that's why I think people don't pay attention enough to those. But I also understand the aspect that they're significantly riskier because there aren't, the Lamine Yamal's in there or a big player like that when you're talking about just the league, right? A significant rookie, where Select FIFA carries all of those guys. So that's kind of and that shouldn't be the chase anyways. The chase should be the autos in those products anyways, the legend autos, I think. But you're looking for rookies as well that maybe haven't really hit the scene. I mean, you look back, I mean, we're talking, mega cracks, Messi mega cracks. I don't know if you listened to the podcast last week with Paulo from Hooked on Soccer. He talked about the guy that bought that Messi mega cracks for $5 in a top loader at the time. That card, for all that matters, is probably a PSA, even a 9, right? Because it's a paper product. Even a 9, significant card with significant value, all because $5 was spent 22 years ago on that card. crazy, just
Yeah, it is.
crazy.
Yeah.
And that's why I tell people that people need to start to look out at particularly those sets, Serie A and La Liga, because specifically for the reason that
They
those
only have
guys might
one
not.
rookie.
Yeah,
One
and then
one rookie card.
yeah, and even the Prism stuff we just talked about, right? Those guys might not have anything ever or not have a Prism card. We all would know that the first Prism cards do really well, especially the golds. Those do significantly well um, in the grand scheme of things. So, anything to add on that maybe I missed there on those products?
No, I like Select. I do.
Yeah, I think Select's a great product. I think one of the things that hurts Select though in the last few years is how it went to retail. People don't realize it's like never used to be a retail product. They were only a hobby product for a long time.
Then they started doing it, I think, with football or basketball.
Yeah. I think it was football. I don't think it hurt them that much, but I think there's some significant kind of like a little. Well, there's a lot of parallels now. You know what I mean? They're trying to get.
Chase the rainbow.
Yeah. It becomes kind of, and it's one of the things that people that come into this hobby don't understand. They don't understand how come there are so many different cards and so many different parallels. Like, isn't a 50 really special when there's the base, right? That are printed so many of those, when there's of 299, of 199, there's over, you start to think about this in terms of printed serial numbered cards in a set. I'm not just talking about Select, but there's probably, and people probably should start looking at this like I am about to talk about, is the total number of serial number cards in that set, right? For that particular player, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah,
It's
that's
probably over
crazy.
1,000 for many of these things,
Well,
of
especially like
299.
even the Topps Finest and Merlin and like I'm doing the rainbow for Barcola, and it's like I can look over there. It's like so many of them. It's like crazy. It's nuts.
Yeah, it's very difficult, and that's where it kind of becomes one of those. That's why, like, you hear a lot of people say everything numbered. If you're selling anything online, right, on like a live stream, you hear everything numbered, and yeah, I do. Oh, that's too high. And of 99 is too high. I'm like, what? And of 99, I don't think it's too high. I actually think anything under of 99 is pretty limited. I do think that. That means less than 100 people. You know what I mean? That's pretty significant. What are your thoughts on kind of the numbering, the parallel game in terms of like how do you target? What do you target for kind of the ideal serial number?
99 would be, but if it's for PC, I do the whole rainbow.
Oh, okay.
Like Barcola, I have all his Finest, all his Merlin, all his Topps Chrome. The only thing I'm missing is like the 101 for almost each set.
Yeah. Those can be expensive to say the
Yeah.
least. Yeah, that's cool. I don't know. I'm starting to kind of think even on a. I know we always talk about market cap in terms of graded cards, right, on Card Ladder and the price of each one and the total market cap. But I think people need to start to think about total market cap in terms of serial numbered cards and realizing that. And people, I mean, we don't, but also as a collector, I also say I like base. So does that really matter to me? It probably doesn't. But I think eventually, I think people are going to start to think of it that way. They'll start saying, you know what? This set from 2016 only had 4 different parallels, and the total available serial number cards in that set was only 150. Maybe that's an idea for a post I'll do actually on some data in terms of realizing where the actual value is in some things and kind of the limited nature of particular cards, right? So it's interesting to say the least.
It's a good
Uh,
idea.
any anything you want to add about in terms of the kind of the serial, the parallels, the colors, ideas on that?
There's a lot. Like there's way too much. I'd find.
Yeah, yeah,
Like I'm looking at some right now. It's like it's out of hand. Way too much.
yeah. And then there's the idea that some of them, right? Like I like that. I think that's a new parallel. I think it's like an orange like checker. I don't think called the honeycomb and select this year. I
I
actually
think
like that
so.
parallel, even though it's not numbered, or even the cracked ice ones that aren't numbered. I like those. They're really nice. So I think a lot of people need to start. Why I say this is like I think people forget that the design of a card is actually the first thing you should look at, right? And if you like it or not, from a collecting perspective, from a selling and an investing perspective, obviously you're going to ask, is it numbered, right? But when I look at something and I see something, I'm kind of like, wow, that cracked ice look is so nice. It's kind of like that Nevs card that I posted last week, right? An of 50. It's of 50. I could have bought an of 10, but it only had one color. The of 50 had
Yeah,
3 colors, and I went for what it looked best. You know what I mean? And I think we've kind of lost touch with that reality.
I would go for the one that's I appeal. One
Yeah,
that looks
yeah,
nice.
eye appeal is such a big thing. I bet you I could, and it's kind of strange because I bet you I could put both of those in a case, right? A solid one to 10, and then that triple to 50,
Everyone's gonna
and
want the other one. Yeah.
and hide the numbers. Which one? Just hide the serial numbers, so nobody can know what serial number is for each one, right?
Yeah.
People would want the 3-color patch,
Oh yeah, for
but then
sure.
reveal to them that the solid one is of 10 and this one's of 50. You know
And
what I
which
mean?
one do you
Because
think? Which one do you think they'd take? The lower
I think
numbers
people
or
are taking.
the?
I think people are taking the 3-color patch.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, I think some of the soccer people are becoming more educated in terms, and they're kind of like piggybacking off the hockey folks, right? Because the 3-color patches are huge for hockey, and I think they understand that because it translates to soccer very well. Sometimes it doesn't because you might have a team that only has one color on their kit, so it's harder, I guess you could say. But if you're using crests, and you can get stuff that's match worn for players, you know what I mean? You can cut those. You can take the crest off a jersey. It's probably what, like this big. You could probably get what, maybe 10 or 12 cards out of it. I don't know.
Oh
Whatever.
yeah, easy. Yeah.
I'm not in that game, so I don't know that game, but like they need to start thinking about that in order to like kind of challenge, I guess not challenge the other sports because they're not competing against hockey, but I still think Upper Decks makes the best patches in the game. I think they do, without question. But yeah, that's kind of like, I don't know, that's where I'm at with some of this stuff. I think it's important to start to think of it. Yeah, I'm gonna do a post like that on the serial numbered stuff. It'll be interesting to look at, especially considering when you look at Select. And I don't know if you know this, that you probably listen to the podcast. Select only had 1,500 cases made of this year's product, and then Topps Chrome had about 11,000 almost, and Topps Finest almost 10,500 cases. So you have, almost 21,000 cases of Chrome and Finest as compared to 1,500 of Select. Select is a more exclusive and limited product. That's like when I see Select blasters, I don't hesitate. I grab them.
Grab.
But when I see Chrome, I don't take them.
I'm the
I might
same.
take one when that comes out just to see what it's like, and that's it. But I don't. If there's 3 of those Select blasters on the shelf, I'm grabbing them all. I'm grabbing them all,
And
and I'm ripping them.
the megas are good too. Mega
I haven't
box.
seen the Select FIFA megas at all. I don't think they made a SKU for that. I
Thought I
can't
seen them
remember.
here. I thought I
Oh,
did.
maybe you have. I don't. I have never seen them here. It could be a thing where they were really limited. I don't know. I mean, if they only made 1,500 hobby cases, they probably only made so many of those
Yeah, they
megas
didn't.
too, as well. All right. Last thing I want to talk about is there's a guy right now in the hobby, a prospect. Well, I guess he's not really a prospect because he had rookie cards last year. Like he had rookie cards in 23-24 products select. He was in Tops Now. He was in Tops Living Set. He was in Stadium Club as well. RIP Stadium Club this year. We have no Stadium Club this year. I also heard that Merlin's not coming out either.
That's what I
I'm
heard
not sure if
too.
that's
Yeah.
I'm not sure if that's true or not yet. I'll find out. He also had a rookie in Topps Flagship, Topps Finest, as well. I'm talking about.
Nico.
Yes, also a score rookie, score FIFA rookie. He's got autographs in Finest. I don't think he's got autographs in regular Chrome though, or Merlin.
I
So,
think he had one in Merlin. I thought I
oh, you
seen
might
it.
have. Yeah, you might be right. You might be right. I'm gonna try to pull up his recent sales. I'm gonna bring these up on the screen before I talk about the player, the prospect that some people are kind of chasing right now. What are your thoughts on Nico? Have you watched him?
Yeah, yeah. He's good. He'll do all right. I don't think he's what everyone thinks he is. Though. I'm
Yeah, and
selling. I'm selling some of his cards. Lower number
yeah.
like stuff. Like
And so, like, all right, here we go. We're gonna look at some of these recent sales this past week or the last few days. He had a really good week. He had a really good weekend. I think he had a goal and assist. Really performed well. 24 Tops Now to 99. PSA 10 sold for $150. That's a really healthy, expensive sale. I think somebody did really well with that card. Pink Mojo to 115. Panini Select 23-24. I think that set's amazing. The players that are in that's $110. And I think this Panini stuff, when you look at that card compared to that of 99 Tops Now, the Select card is pack pulled. It's numbered to 115, only a few more. It's a premium product. Those Tops Now products they're paper products. Man, I'd rather have the Select rookie, wouldn't you?
oh yeah,
$40 cheaper. I mean, it's crazy.
I have some of his Merlin numbered stuff.
And then you have a living set, which I think these cards are cool. A lot of people don't like them. PSA 10 Pop 1, it says $116. These cards aren't even numbered. So this is the old Stadium Club cheese orange refractor of 25. It's an insert. We all know inserts, they hold value temporarily. Long term, they don't unless it's a kaboom. This one sold for $57.75. You have the Say Cheese Red 5 of 5 sold for $255. Again, these are right after that game on the weekend. So that was actually 2 days. It was what, yesterday or today? 26. These are today.
today. Yeah.
Yeah, these are some sales from today. And you look at some of these, I'm kind of like, wow, man, this is like multicolor sold for $14.33. I think that's a good deal. Here's the finest auto, $299. That's not auto though, is it? No, rookie purple. It's a purple. $289. But let's see if I'm going to sort this by highest sold ever. I'm curious to see what the card is. So it's a red of 5 PSA 10 on the 21st, sold for $17.75. Simplicidad Nico Paz rookie, 1 of 1, sold for $16.47. 1 of 1 Super Chrome UEFA Wonder Kid, 1 of 1 800. A lot of inserts here. I don't see anything. Inception of 5, $791. I think that's an auto too. Auto 9 of 10. Wait a second. Oh, this is graded. It's a 9 and the auto's a 10. $791. I think that's a really nice card.
It's
Let's
a
take a
nice
look
card.
and see it here. It's a nice card. I like Inception a lot. Premium product. That does very well. I think I have respect for it. I like it a lot. I like that product a lot. I don't own any right now. I would love to get one eventually. I just gotta look for the right guy. Immaculate 1 of 1. I don't know if this is a true 1 of 1. It is. And I know who owns this card actually. Football Breaker owns this card now. He must have paid $776 for this card. Nice card. He got this in Asia. He calls it a logo man, but it's not really a logo man because it's the Adidas logo. It's not. It's not a true logo man.
You know,
We don't have that in soccer
it'd be
yet.
nice, so eh?
Yeah, it
What do you
would be
think?
nice.
You think they'll do debut patches for
Think they're
Europe
starting to
clubs?
do. I think they're starting to do that
They're doing
for
it for
some.
MLS, right?
Yeah, and I think they're starting to do it for Champions League too. I don't know how true that is, but it's so difficult to do that, right? Because you don't actually know. I guess you should just like if somebody gets called up, like the kid from Arsenal, Tops is probably ready with that patch though. For a guy like that, you know, the big guys, they'll probably wait for that to do that. But here it is. It's a PSA 7. Football Breaker obviously gambled. He paid $776. I think he got a good deal. 1 of 1. It's a card people probably want. Not an auto, it's a patch, but it's a nice card. So his cards are, here's a Chrome, right? This is the PSA 10. These are I think these are number to 11. Forgot the name of these, but 700 sold for 651. The value is 767 out according to card letter. I think that's really expensive, really expensive. And you gave me your insight on him, and I'm gonna give people some insight too. I want to try to stay positive here because I want people to collect what they want. But here's where I'm going to start with Nico Paz. And in terms of what he's good at, right? Because I think it's important that we kind of identify what they're good at and then talk about what they need to improve on. Technical ability, no doubt, really strong left foot. He's very excellent in the depth with the dribbling skills for sure, passing, and that assist he had this weekend, really incredible assist. And he controls the ball well under pressure. His size does help him. I don't know if you know, he's a pretty big guy. At his position, I think he's 6'1" or 6'2". Very good long range shooter. In terms of long range shooting, can finish really well from long range. Significant goal threat from the distance area. Again, dribbling very good. Ball carrying, he's very good. He can weave through defenders in tight spaces and carrying the ball forward. He's got great vision and creativity. Like I said before, that pass this weekend, if you didn't see that pass, incredible pass that was made. Good composure. He's a very intelligent player too. And I like intelligent players. And if you've seen him, so he's pretty. To me, he seems like a player that can handle the pressure, and he really has a professional kind of working attitude. Plays really well. You rarely see him kind of disagree or argue with the referee in terms of what's going on or the call, you know what I mean? So very good. Again, he's big, can win a lot of challenges in aerial duels, and mostly he's an attacking midfielder, but he's played before even further up the pitch in kind of the forward zones, but more of an attacking midfielder. Improvement wise, like any player that depends on one foot, he obviously can improve his right foot quite a bit. Hopefully he further develops that. That's going to be very important for his development. Finishing consistency, long range, I said he's a great finisher. He has actually room to improve in his finishing kind of closer to the net and inside the box from what I've seen. Um, Tactically, he's best suited as a central attacking midfielder, I think, especially in a 4-3-3. And that's kind of, I think Fabregas is really employing that at Como because it enhances his kind of the technical skills and the creativity to do those things. Now, people, here's what I get worried. This is where I get negative a little bit. I mean, I talked about is where he can improve, right? The other thing is a very good set piece taker. I think his goal this weekend was a set piece. Really good. Excellent player. So yeah, as you know, he was developed at Real Madrid. Started as a defender, believe it or not, before he moved further up the pitch, which is interesting. And now he's starting to gain more attention in the hobby because of his breakout, especially last season at Como and Serie A, under Fabregas, under the mentorship of Fabregas. I'm sure that helps a lot. He was also recognized as the best under 23 player in Serie A for the 24-25 season. So, Nico Paz, he's exciting, but I think the numbers I'm seeing for the hobby in terms of the value and the sales numbers, I think they're too high. What do you think?
Yeah, I think so too.
And I don't want to I don't want to be a guy that kind of Debbie Downs this because I think he's a fantastic player, but I don't think he's what people think he's going to be. So before you think you might be missing out or having FOMO, don't go buying his cards. This is why I think this. I'll give you my justification. When is the last time, see if you can recall this, you've watched soccer for a while now. When is the last time a player went out on loan, came back to the original club, and was extremely successful? Can you name somebody for me?
That's a tough one. I can't think of one right off.
And I was talking to some friends about this week, and they were having a hard time naming somebody as well.
Yeah, another hard time. Yeah, it's a
And
good.
so you think about that, right? And you start to realize, wait a second, that sorry, this guy's texting me again, the plumber. It's kind of an interesting thing I think people need to think about. Players that have been successful after a transfer. Let me stop sharing my screen because we don't need to share that anymore. Players that have been successful after a transfer and coming back to their same club. Think hard.
Syria is a tough league to play into to score. So
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
So I can remember in particular two really good ones, and they actually, well, one of them is actually, yeah, one of them counts as that. John Terry is one. Chelsea loaned him out. He's one that I remember, and I think he went to Forest. He went to Nottingham Forest. So he's a player that did that, right? Another one I can think of is Rio Ferdinand, and people won't remember this one. Do you remember where Rio Ferdinand went on loan? And I'm not talking about before United. He was at West Ham, right? Yeah, West Ham. You know where he went on loan? People don't know this. He went to Bournemouth. And he actually says that changed his perspective on things. And I'm trying to think better on other players that have gone on a loan that have succeeded, right, and gone back to the original club. Some people say, well, Mo Salah is a guy that succeeded. Well, not really, because he went to Chelsea, then he went off to Switzerland, right? And then he went to Fiorentina, or no, wait, he went to Fiorentina before that. Played at Roma, was successful there, then went back to England to Liverpool and became successful. There's one.
Yeah.
Well, he doesn't count because again, it wasn't the original club. That's what I'm trying to. And this is why where I'm going with this is that I'm not sure Nico Paz. When you think about that, it's kind of like, well, why did Real Madrid loan him out if he's this good? There's a reason, right? That their lineup is crowded with offensive players. Whose place is he going to take? Which player's position is he going to take? Is he going to take Bellingham's position? I don't think so. Is he going to take Arda Güler's position? I don't think so.
No, I don't think so either.
So when you see pricing for his cards, and I think they are, and I didn't look up Arda Güler yet, but I'm going to say that they're probably in Arda Güler territory when you think about it. I'm actually going to look that up now because now I'm curious. Now I'm like really wondering.
So you think these teams would know, like, they're letting them out for a reason, right? If not, they're keeping them and playing.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, again, like, the Arda Güler stuff, I'm trying to compare it to like, the Arda Güler stuff is a little bit more expensive. Been selling for that. I mean, that was based on, I'm going to look at actually the date here, but you would think, and don't get me wrong, some players, some teams, they loan them out, right? And then they keep them on their books for a reason, which is to either sell later.
So later, yeah.
or maybe they believe in them, but most of the time they don't believe in the player. You know what I mean? I don't think they believe in the player most of the time. So I think for Real Madrid is because they still have a stake in that ownership piece. I think they have a 50% ownership in that still. I'm not positive on that, but
It's like they're hoping he does well there so they could just sell him after.
yeah, and because I think Como actually wants to make it a permanent deal so that they can use him as an investment, right, for the future. That's their goal, really, is that's their goal to do that. But this is where it gets interesting. You know, for me, it's kind of like, well, would I rather have a Nico Paz auto or would I rather have an Arda Guler auto? And my answer is I'd rather have an Arda
Arda
Guler
Guler.
without question. And I'm trying to look at the pricing here for Arda Guler, and I wish I could put up both screens, but I can't. And of 10, okay, of 10 PSA 9 Guler, we should use PSA 10s. Apples to apples is the best way to do this. But a Stadium Club Arda Guler Auto Refractor Rookie sold for $350. That's just a refractor, right? Now, if I look at, and that's Stadium Club, but a Nico Paz, let me make sure I remember that because that's going to be an important one. I think Paz had autos in Stadium Club, didn't he?
I believe so.
Or maybe he didn't. And this is where it gets kind of like interesting because
I
I
think he had
think,
Topps Finest, I think.
oh yeah, you're right. You're right. Actually, his Topps Finest autos are cheap, but people don't. I mean, I don't like Topps Finest. I think they're too busy this year in terms of what they did. But for example, like his Feliciano Argentina Bowman auto did 159. Like that's not even numbered. And people are paying. All right, here's one. First Bowman rookie, Nico autograph, $240, PSA 10. So for $90 more, I can get a Guler Stadium Club Chrome in a Real Madrid kit. That's
Never
not a
paid
hard
attention.
decision for me. That's not
Me
a hard
neither.
decision for me. You know what I
No, me
mean?
neither. Yeah.
So I caution people again. I say this cautiously. Fantastic little player. I just don't think. I'm just kind of want to warn people to be careful. You know, I like prospects too, but I think he's just too expensive as compared to the other guys. So I would just be cautious with Nico Paz. We've seen those sales go crazy after a really good game this past weekends. Any last remaining thoughts that you have?
I guess like a lot of Desjardins cards have gone up too recently. I noticed that.
Yeah, they went up significantly. Champions League final that day and the days after that, they've gone up significantly. They went up. I haven't looked at them since. I haven't really looked at them because once they go up this high, I'm like I'm out. Like I can't even get in there. You know what I mean? I was late. I liked them, but I was just like late on that. He's the guy I liked, but I was with that stuff. It was like that's where you get into those breaks and you buy those low lying teams because
He
you could
doesn't
have
have a
gotten those teams.
lot of rookie cards either. Like just
He's got
Merlin.
Merlin and Chrome. Merlin and Chrome. I think that's it.
That's it. Yeah.
Right. I don't think he's got Stadium Club. I don't think there's Sapphire too, right? I think is there Sapphire Finest. I don't know if he's a Finest rookie either though. So yeah, I mean,
I got some of his refractors, but Merlin.
yeah, but I also think you know what I also think. I also think we in the soccer hobby we talk about there's too many rookies. Doesn't matter in the other sports.
Yeah, it's
It really doesn't. Look at hockey, right? You got
yeah, lots of
Ultimate, you got Premier, you got the Cup, you've got SP Authentic. But I think with soccer, we're still trying to figure out what are like so for Upper
what's the
Deck,
main
right?
rookie?
What's the main rookie or what's the three rookies that people want, right? Or the three most kind of cards people want. It's obviously Chrome. It's obviously, I don't know what number two is, first World Cup card, maybe. I don't know. With hockey, it's kind of like the Young Guns, right? Young
Yeah. Oh
Guns,
yeah, Young Guns. Yeah.
the SPA Auto, right? Future Watch, right? That's a big one. And then the of 99, the Cup or Premier Ultimate, right? The of 99s, right? Those are the true rookies,
True
right?
rookie.
So I think for soccer, we have to kind of figure that out. Where is it? Do we kind of copy the
They were gonna figure that out. Well, then when you think Merlin is like the rookie, and then all of a sudden there's no set anymore. Like there's no Merlin this year, right?
yeah. Yeah, and I think and I've said this before, I think Topps kind of messed up. That Merlin set was unique because they were putting teams in there that were in the Europa League that had rookies, and then they weren't putting them into the Chrome product. But they started to mix them all together, which is I don't think it's good. They could have kept everything kind of separate and kind of standalone, right? It would have I think it would have fared a lot better.
No Stadium Club. Like it's it's hard to see what's going to happen.
Yeah, yeah, and that could be. I mean, that's why they printed so much chrome this year, and I mean, I think they printed some more chrome last year, but they printed so much chrome and finest.
This year, yeah.
Maybe they knew that was what was going on, or maybe it was a. They said it was a production issue, which could be. Maybe they don't want to buy more printing plates. I don't know. I don't know what the situation is, but I'd like to find out. Maybe
They gotta,
eventually we will. Yeah,
they
maybe
gotta
eventually we'll find out.
figure it out, right? They gotta figure it
Yeah,
out.
exactly. Well, man, I appreciate you coming on, man. It's always
Thank
good
you.
having somebody else to kind of hop around on the pod with and get some insight as well. I appreciate you coming on.
Thank you.
Guys, thank you for watching again. Don't forget to follow Jay. He's at Cardboard Haven on Instagram. And let me know what you guys think about the episode. Don't forget, like, subscribe, share the episode with people, trying to grow this thing further. We're different. We're not like the other guys that are out there doing podcasts. We're trying to be different. Having collectors on consistently to talk about what they're doing and how they're doing it and in different areas of the world. So that's this episode 75 coming to a close. Thank you, Cardboard Haven. I appreciate coming on, and we'll see you guys next time.